Hello, my name is Tiffany.
And my name is Yasmina, and we will be discussing A Little Liar by Mitch Albom.
A Little Liar by Mitch Albom is a creepy and eerie yet moving story that occurs during the Holocaust. However, the book's themes and lessons are timeless. At its core, the book discovers themes of truth, innocence, loss of innocence, guilt, and redemption seen in the eyes of a boy who has his honesty shattered by a lie, used as a weapon against his own people.
The story focuses on Nico Crispus, who is an 11-year-old Jewish boy living with his family in Salonika, Greece during the time of the Nazi occupation. Everyone knows Nico as Chioni, which means pure because he never lies. This is because truth to Nico is his moral compass and is almost sacred to him. However, his honesty eventually leads to his downfall when he's manipulated by a Nazi officer. When the Nazis invade Greece, a Nazi officer named Udo Graf lies to Nico so he can reassure all Jews, letting them know they are simply being resettled through Nico. Nico believes Udo Graf and goes around telling the Jews. However, Nico causes thousands of Jews to go in a train to their deaths in a concentration camp.
Here, Albom introduces the central theme that truth isn't inherently good in and of itself, but it also relies on intention and context as well. Nico tells the truth under false pretenses, so he thinks he is telling the truth even though he is being manipulated. Because of this, Nico has unintentionally become a tool for genocide. Albom raises a question about moral. Can the truth be as destructive as a lie? Can innocence still be blamed when it causes irreversible harm?
These ideas throughout are constantly reinforced by the narrator, which is truth itself. Albom personifies truth to speak to the reader directly. Throughout the book, truth reflects on where it stands in the world, how it is used, not used, misunderstood, and twisted. While this device may seem unusual, it is powerful. By using truth as a character, Albom blurs the line between human decisions and abstract concepts. This really emphasizes how truth is subjective, as it can be used, distorted, and even weaponized, just like it is used by Udo Graf, the Nazi officer that causes Nico's betrayal.
Graf's character is a stark contrast to Nico. While Nico is innocent, naive, and means well, Graf is manipulative and cold. Unlike Nico, he understands the psychology of trust and uses it as his tool to destroy a community. He doesn't lie himself. Instead, he uses the right messenger, someone who the community will trust.
After the turning point of this traumatic betrayal, Nico simply vanishes. He goes on a journey across many different lands with many different people, seeking his family and hoping to save them. However, he loses his truth and innocence and lies to do so. Nico's search is a symbol of multiple things. It is a search for truth, justice, and a desperate search to restore something that has been completely shattered by betrayal.
Sebastian and Fanny are important and interesting characters. Sebastian, Nico's older brother who grows up in Nico's shadow, is angry and heartbroken. Fanny, who loved Nico once, is torn between what she remembers of him and what he has done. Through this, Albom introduces and explores the themes of forgiveness and moral complexity. He introduces the questions: can someone be forgiven for a sin they didn't know they were doing? Can love survive despite betrayal? Yes, especially one
Of this magnitude. Then there's the powerful motive of memory, which is significant in the story. Albom demonstrates how trauma shapes memories, how survivors try to comprehend a traumatic and almost incomprehensible past over time in vastly different ways. For Nico, his memory is almost gone, similar to a ghost to himself and to others, as he is constantly lying about his past, yet it haunts him. Nico lives under different identities and names. He isolates himself, and silence is a form of punishment.
Albom's story is simple yet poetic. He doesn't add too much detail but focuses on the emotional clarity and depth of the characters. This allows the reader to sit and reflect on the moral weight and complexity of the story. Albom doesn't shy away from using pain, but he doesn't use it so much that it is interesting despite the accuracy. Instead, Albom writes the story in a very human perspective, reflecting the historical horror and trauma, also including and focusing on the lasting psychological and emotional scars of the characters.
By using many themes, The Little Liar really shows how truth functions in a world filled with lies and how truth matters, especially in who we choose to believe. This shows how fragile or continuous truth can be in cases of trauma. album also suggests that while truth can be twisted, it can also heal if it is paired with understanding, compassion, and humility.
When the book ends, the reader is left feeling that there are no easy answers. Instead, they are left with this broad realization that even if someone has the best intentions, their actions can make them go very terribly wrong. Still, there is a small chance of hope, and even through devastating times, and little redemption can be possible.